Alrighty, welcome to the virtual CodeGen Developer Challenge welcome session. As a friendly reminder, this meeting is being recorded as we have participants in all time zones and want to ensure that this information is available to everyone. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. This meeting is being held through Zoom, so if you have any questions, we will have a Q&A section at the end. Any comments or questions can be put in the chat below. As shown on your screen, there is a chat box icon that you can select to add your questions in there. All right, so for our agenda today, we will be providing an event overview, introducing our judges and mentors, reviewing the judging parameters for this event, going over some helpful tips for how to create a winning submission, as well as how to communicate with the event support / your mentor throughout this week. And then finally, as mentioned, we'll have a section for Q&A available at the end. Alrighty, so first off, an overview of the TCG CodeGen Developer Challenge. The event is essentially challenging developers to find digital solutions based off of the TCG standards. The theme for this challenge is pervasive security and application of TCG standards in software and hardware development. The solutions submitted by participants can be either new applications that utilize a TCG standard, or they can also be new features to enhance existing technology. We really try to keep it open, so demos or review of code, such as C++, we don't really want to go into pseudocode, are encouraged. However, applicants will not be restricted. We really want to encourage everyone to be as innovative as possible in your submission. Participants will have until this Friday, October 22nd, to work on their submission with the assistance of TCG mentors, getting guidance from their expertise. And then these submissions will be presented to a panel of judges on this Friday between 7 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. Live presentations via Zoom are encouraged. That way the judges can ask some questions at the end. But we understand that folks are in various time zones, so recordings will also be accepted. Alrighty, so with the submissions themselves, they can fall within one of 4 challenge area topics. From each of these challenge area topics, a first place winner will be selected. Each of these first place winners will then have their submissions compared up against each other in the finals. With this final group of submissions, a final winner will be selected to receive the grand prize. An honorable mention who had a great submission but did not win their challenge area category will also be selected to receive a prize. Now, as mentioned before, the submissions can either be to utilize or enhance. So an example of this is a submission could either create a TPM command, or it could use the TPM to develop an application. It's pretty open-ended. The types of submissions include a source code that is running an application, a new standard proposal enhancement, or an application or use case that TCG technology can help improve. So for example, a detailed prototype idea that doesn't have any source code or proof of concept. As mentioned, there are 4 challenge areas for participants to compete under. The first is TSS and TPM. The TSS and TPM specifications detail how the TPM can implement into various platforms and provide a standard API for accessing the functions of the TPM. Application developers can use these specifications to develop interoperable client applications for more tamper-resistant computing. Now, I want to note quickly that all participants should have received an email with these slides attached. And these links here with the TPM and TSS do link to the specifications on the TCG website. So if you're wanting to look into the specifications, you can click those links to view them in more detail. As well as we do have our mentors who can help answer questions. The next challenge area is storage. The storage specifications are building upon existing TCG technology, but with more of a focus on security services for dedicated storage systems. The next challenge area is DICE. The DICE resources enhance systems with the TPM, as well as provide a viable security and privacy foundations for systems and components without a TPM. So it's really kind of branching away from the initial TPM-based approach to looking into other security solutions as well. The focus of this work is developing new approaches to enhancing security and privacy with minimal silicone requirements. And then finally, the last challenge area that this event will be covering is FIM and RIM. The FIM and RIM specifications are part of TCG's PC client efforts, focused on defining the capabilities and behavior of TCG technologies such as the TPM and Opal in the context of a client endpoint computer. So those are our 4 challenge area categories. As previously noted, we will be having our judges and mentors assisting us throughout this event. If you have not received an email with your mentor's information, that's likely because we have not received which challenge area you will be competing under. So please make sure to message event support with that information as soon as possible so that we can match you to your mentor. Alrighty. So going through our expert judges and mentors, first off, we have Jorg, who is our president and chairman of the Trusted Computing Group for nearly a decade, as well as works at Infineon Technologies. He will be acting as a judge in this competition. Next is Amy Nelson. She is an engineering technologist and security architect in the Data Security Solutions Organization within Dell's Client Solutions Group. She's represented Dell within the Trusted Computing Group by chairing the PC Client Work Group, as well as the Technical Committee. We have Dave Challoner, who will also be serving as a judge. He is an active member of many TCG work groups, such as Cyber Resilience Technologies, Industrial Infrastructure, TNC, as well as he is the co-chair of the TPM work group. And then we have Thorsten Stremulat, who is also a judge. He is the CTO for Lenovo's Intelligent Devices Group and Smart Devices business. He has been a part of TCG for over 20 years and is currently the co-chair of the marketing work group. Next, we have Dennis Mattoon. He will be serving as both a judge and a mentor. And he is a principal software development engineer for Microsoft Research. He chairs the TCG DICE work group, as well as co-chairs the attestation, marketing, and supply chain work groups. Next, we have Mr. Inushi. He is serving as a mentor, and he is a professor of the Facility of Information Science and Engineering at a university located in Japan. His research interests include technologies for embedded security, especially automotive network security and network protocol of the internet. Next, we have another member who will be serving as both a judge and a mentor. That is Joseph Chen. He is the VP of Engineering at Ulink Technology and serves as a TCG contributor advisor. He has been with TCG since 2008 and has worked on TCG storage software, firmware, and hardware design and development. Next, we have Graham Prowler, who will be serving as a judge. He is an invited expert and technical advisor to the TCG Technicals Committee, and he reviews the specifications and other TCG documents across our org. He has been working on trusted computing for over 20 years and has held various positions within TCG, including editor of the TPM specification and chair of the technical committee. And then finally, our last slide of judges and mentors. We have Jaewon, who is serving as a mentor. He is a principal engineer, firmware security architect at Intel, and is an active member within the TCG PC Client Work Group. So he'll be assisting with the FIM and RIM section. Next, we have Ken Goldman, who will also be serving as a mentor. He's a senior engineer within the secure systems and hardware development at IBM Research. He is also an editor of the TPM 1.2 and TPM 2.0 specifications, and a developer of the IBM TSS for TPM 2.0. Next, we have Tiffany Pierce, who is a judge. She is a computer scientist and mathematician who has been involved with TPM working groups for over 10 years and works in the cybersecurity research at Scandinavia National Laboratories. And then finally, we have Takei-san, who will be serving as a mentor. He is a security policy director at Intel Corporation, covering security, privacy, and new technology policies, such as drone, robotics, and autonomous systems. He is also the co-chair of TCG's Japan Regional Forum and the Supply Chain Work Group. All right, next we are going to review the judging parameters. This is going to go over essentially how these submissions will be judged by our panel. So on the final day of the competition, participants will have 10 minutes to present their submission. Live presentations, as mentioned before, are highly encouraged. However, recordings will also be accepted. 5 minutes will also be allocated per submission for judges to ask any questions they may have. If you are unable to attend live and will have to put in a recording, you are welcome to try to write down some answers for questions that you believe the judges may ask, or work with your mentor to see if they may be able to assist with answering questions on your behalf. The judging panel will assign a score of 0 through 5 in each parameter, which will determine the rankings of each individual participating team. The winners of each challenge area will be the team with the highest score. So it will take an average of all of the judges. In the event of a tie, subsequent votes will be held until the winning team is selected. The judges will also select an honorable mention, as mentioned before, who did not win their challenge area but still had an excellent submission. All right, looking at the judging parameters themselves, here are the 5 unique parameters the judges will be assigning a score of 0 through 5 based off of. These are things to consider when putting together your submission that will help give you a high score. The first is innovation win. Is the submission unique or novel in any way? Looking at if it brings any new value to existing customers and the markets. The second parameter is business win. This is looking at if the submission has a market. Does it do anything to make it easier to adopt TCG to increase security? Or does it bring a new value to existing customers and markets by addressing a pain point or providing a security improvement? Next one is wow factor. This is looking at if the submission will create excitement amongst the TCG developer community, or if the idea provides an opportunity for TCG to potentially explore something new. As mentioned before, we really encourage innovation, so feel free to use creativity, and we look forward to seeing what everyone comes up with. Next is applicability. This looks into if the submission will provide a usable code or process, and how applicable the entry is to TCG standards. And finally is implementation and viability. So if the solution will take a long time to be developed should be considered, as well as what resources, either hardware or software, would be available for development. Please note too that if your team decides to not provide a presentation or a video recording to show to the judges on the final day of the competition to review the submission, this will impact the implementation and viability score. All right, next we're going to review some tips for winning submissions, going over how to make your submission as strong as possible. So first, just some basic presentation guidance. These are things that should be considered when putting together your presentation to the judges. We would like to see a cover image or page with your team's name on it. General tip, Please decide ahead of time who will present or be speaking at what points in the presentation. Please do not read directly off of the slides, which I realize I am doing right now, but go over the presentation ahead of time with your group so that you know ahead of time what you are planning to say and who will present which portion. Make sure you know the problem statement, the market fit, the tech stack flowchart, and potential ways that you could expand your project going forward. We look forward to seeing ways that this could continue to be developed in the future. As mentioned before, we prefer a demo of some kind. It's a little tricky as this event is virtual and technology can always be a bit of a tricky issue with remote connections, but we encourage you to do everything you can for live remote demos, but video recordings are also welcomed as well. And then lastly, please add a team page to mention the contact information of every member. We want to ensure that we can get in touch with you in case you are a winning submission. So please make sure to include your contact information. This will also be used to attribute any submission to you and ensure that you get full credit when we announce who our winners are. All right, next is the keys to a good pitch. So these are some things you should be considered when you are looking at what you want to submit. The first is to really do your market research. Why would your potential solution be interesting to TCG? Is it addressing an immediate need, or is there customer research data that proves a pain point you're trying to solve? And also, are there any existing implementations of your solution? Really looking into what is already out there, what you can contribute to what's currently on the market. Next is to tell the story from the implementer's point of view. What does the use case scenario look like? Sorry, what does the use case scenario for this look like? What does the current scenario look like, and how does it improve with your solution? And also, how do you differentiate from existing solutions? What makes you unique, and what is your solution going to be used for? Next is explaining the value back to TCG. If this is something new, sometimes it can just be an addition on current work, but if it's new, is it something brand new that you created, or is it an innovation that you created on top of some existing solution? Really tying back to where this idea came from and where you innovated is important. And then if you were to implement this solution, where would it be used? Looking at where this could be implemented on the market or within TCG standards, looking into the next steps again. And then lastly, as mentioned, demoing your project is a huge resource to help the judges understand your application and your solution. So briefly mention the technologies you used, as well as anything interesting that you learned throughout the week is helpful for us to know about. Showing a resolution to the problem that you originally identified. So going back to that market research at the beginning, identifying that problem and then showing how you solved it is great for the judges to see. And then once again, just with the demo, showing what your project does and that you completed the key components of it is crucial. All right, next we're going to discuss how to communicate with event support and your mentor throughout the week. So throughout this event, we will be using a tool called Slack, which is used for instant messaging. All participants, as well as the judges and mentors, should have received an invite to the TCG Slack via the email that you registered with. If for any reason you did not receive this invite, or are having any troubles with gaining access, please contact CodeGen at trustedcomputinggroup.org. Once again, that email can be used for anything throughout the week. That's how you get in touch with our event organizers via email. When using Slack, they sent an email yesterday with a link to an instruction page. However, I'll also briefly discuss how to use it. You can either view the channels that we have set up, as well as use direct messages. We highly encourage that you use direct messages to contact both event support as well as your mentor. To create a direct message, you're just going to go up to the little note symbols, little page with a little pencil in the top left corner, as shown in the screenshot here. It's a little white circle. And you're going to click that. And from there, you can just type who you want to send your message to. And that will put you in direct contact with that person. If you are looking to contact event admin, please reach out to event admin/Heather, as I will be able to assist you with anything you may need related to event questions. Now, there are also channels that are included as well that you will have access to. These channels will be used to have announcements sent out from the event support, as well as allow discussions amongst participants and mentors if you would like to do so. If you want to mute a channel or leave it for any reason, you can right-click it to see your notification settings in the options shown in the screenshot. Please do not spam the channels. We want to allow communication to be as clear as possible. So once again, send any direct messages to the admin account or to mentor as much as possible. That said, there are a few channels for folks to work on and view. The first is developer challenge announcements. This is where event support will be posting any challenge related updates throughout the week. Something exciting to note is that throughout this week, we will be holding mentor open office hours, where mentors will be open for anyone to join their Zoom account and chat over their submission with them. So if you have a question or you just want to get an extra opinion, get some feedback, or just talk through one of the TCG specifications if you have questions, anything like that, we will have office hours from our mentors. Keeping in mind that some of our mentors have specialties, so I will make sure to note those when we announce the office hours for each day. So, as pointed out, it is important to make sure that you are following this channel, as this will be the primary communication method for small announcements throughout the week. The next channel is the TCG CodeGen Challenge channel. This is an open channel where anyone is allowed to post and discuss your submission. So if you have a general question for anyone, you can put it there. Or if you just want to get in contact with your fellow applicants and want to see what everyone else is working on, you are welcome to use this as a tool to socialize. Obviously, with it being a virtual event, it's a little less possible for networking and the social aspect of events. But we hope that this can be a tool to get to know other people that are in a similar field as you, and get other opinions on your submissions. And then lastly, we have the contact event admin channel. While participants are encouraged to directly message me with any questions, they can also post any questions they may have in this channel if they believe that the question may be helpful to other participants. So if you have a more general, broad question that you believe could be good for other folks to hear, or if you want, for some reason I'm not replying, feel free to put it in the group channel for more folks to see it. Alrighty, and that finishes the review of the material we had planned for today, but I wanted to offer up some time for questions or comments. So do we have any questions?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
This is Niegos with Leonardo Digueras. Just a couple of questions. One thing that wasn't clear to me, are multiple submissions allowed, encouraged or discouraged?
We would like to encourage just one submission per registrant, if possible. That
Okay.
said, if you have one solution that you feel could be applied to different scenarios, that is something that you could delve into.
All right. And then in our submission, we indicated storage as our area of interest, but we haven't received the mentor's name. So what do we need to do to make that happen?
Oh, that is good. I will send you a message directly after this meeting to send it to you. Would you mind popping your email in the chat to make sure that I have the correct email for you? You can directly
Sure.
message it to me and I can send you a follow-up right after this call with that information.
Very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. All right, are there any other questions? As a reminder, this meeting will be posted shortly after. We do have a recording, so it will be posted hopefully within the next hour for folks to review. So if you joined partway through, I saw some folks come in about halfway through and missed anything, it will be posted online for you to view. I will include a link to the video in the Slack channel, as well as email it out to participants for anyone to view. As well as everyone should have these presentation slides that they can look over as well. Once again, if you have any questions as today moves on, feel free to message me on Slack or send an email to the CodeGen at trustedcomputinggroup.com. .org. And yeah, we look forward to seeing what everyone comes up with throughout the week and hope everyone enjoys this event. Alrighty, hearing no other questions, I will go ahead and close this meeting. And we look forward to seeing what the week brings. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.